Oh, my boggled head, around which numbers spun all period. The second day of school, and I'm already lost in calc. I covered my book last night, just like everybody else, but after that I got lost. I looked around me, no friends in that class, none at all, and everyone was taking notes, nodding along with Baker and his spirals of chalk. My mind sputtered and began to sink. I clung to the life jacket of sketching out story outlines. I think when I reread my journal this year, I'll always be able to tell when I was in calc by the paragraphs of story entries. For some reason, we got out of Baker's class early. The bell system here is computerized, which means, of course, that it doesn't work. The bells ring, ignored at random, as if a loud, unruly ice cream man is wandering around Rower High School. Baker let us out of class, and the hallways were nearly deserted. I arrived early for poetry, which was a gift. Hattie Lewis was there. Hattie Lewis likes to tell her students stories from when she was young, but I can't quite believe those stories, because it seems that she must have been born a wise old woman. Her classroom is her lair. It's industrial and ugly like everyone else's classrooms, but it has an aura of classiness and culture. For one thing, there aren't any faded travel posters or soft focus photographs of sunsets with "Reach for your dreams" superimposed over them up on the walls. But the aura transcends the cheap impressionist reproductions that have replaced them. It comes from her. She doesn't have to tell anybody not to chew gum. They just know it. She dresses more ridiculously than any other Rower teacher, and the competition is stiff. All crazy quilted skirts and vests with embroidered flora, but no one laughs, even when she's not around. Her first name is Hattie, but no one has a mean nickname for her. Showing up early for her class, and thus being alone with her, felt like showing up early for Judgment Day, and getting to hang out with the angels before the crowds arrive. It sounds like it felt like death. Calculus must still be crowding my brain. Our conversation was about the literary magazine, of which I am editor. She's the faculty sponsor. Our first meeting is tomorrow after school. I can't forget about it. I asked her what poets we'd be studying this year, and was embarrassed when she listed all these names I had never heard of. I recognized Robert Frost, and of course E. Cummings, but I consider myself a poet and had never heard of these people. She must have seen my face as I struggled to hide my ignorance. "Relax," she said. "You will be wise. You're young. You can't have everything right away. When something simple and true takes you by surprise, it hits you in the stomach." Before I could say anything, people started piling in. Hattie Lewis didn't skip a beat. She had us all sit down, and she spent the rest of the period talking about Anne Bradstreet. I took notes. I had never heard of Anne Bradstreet. Now I'm in choir, and even with Adam still gathered in a corner with the other officers, the calm of Hattie Lewis's words comforts me. I can't have everything right away. Plus, sometimes it's enough to watch him. Still no sign of Mr. Hand, the real choir teacher. From a spiral-bound notebook passed between two desks in Gladys Tall's 5th period applied civics class, taped into these typed pages. "Kate, what is Mrs. T talking about? I've been staring out the window." "Tell me about it. You were far, far away. I've had to roll my eyes at myself all period." "Sorry, I didn't get much sleep last night." "Flan, what did I tell you about whoring on school nights? You're always tired and grumpy the next day. I'm going to call your pimp and give him a piece of my mind. If he doesn't reschedule your hours, you'll never get into a good college." "You must stop writing things like that to me." "I don't think Mrs. Tall bought the fact that I found the concept of supply and demand humorous." On a much more important note, I saw Adam today, but I didn't invite him to the dinner party. I thought you might want to. You know him better. You want to know him better. Still, I'm waiting for him to call me. You need an excuse before you can call somebody. He doesn't have an excuse to call you. Anyway, somebody else is after him, so you better get moving. He said that somebody had written him love letters all summer. The notebook wasn't passed anymore, despite there being a full 15 minutes left of class. Jim Carr has eyes like a hawk, so I can't write much in here, but I would like to note that for the 7th semester in a row, Every semester I've been here, Mr. Carr has managed to find a curvaceous female education grad student to serve as his teaching assistant. Most teachers here don't have any teaching assistants at all, except for the occasional French friend of Millie's who needs work, but Carr manages to find a bevy of them. There are a lot of stupid biology jokes to be made here, but my beautiful, expensive Italian leather-bound black journal is too nice for such cracks. Home again, home again. I'm bored of my routine already, and it's the second day of school. Natasha picked me up from bio. Is that this year's model? She asked, glaring at the assistant, and walked me to French, trying all the way to convince me that I should invite Adam to the party. Finally, she said I could think it over tonight, and that otherwise Kate would do it tomorrow. My plan is that he'll call me tonight, and I, quasi-spontaneously, will invite him to the party. After I hang up the phone, I will go out to the garden and frolic with my pet unicorn, which just as surely exists as the rest of my scenario. Sigh. Gotta go read some Bradstreet. She's an early American poet. What do you mean you've never heard of her?